There's something I've been thinking about gifting my younger sister Priya. She's just turned 16 and is really getting into photography. It's not just selfies and snaps with her phone anymore. She's actually showing a real artistic eye, trying to capture moments and scenes beautifully. So, what I'd really like to gift her is a proper DSLR camera. Now, I know DSLRs can be quite expensive, and I'm not talking about the top of the line professional models. I've been doing a bit of research online and talking to a friend who's a keen photographer himself. He recommended a good entry level DSLR that's perfect for beginners. It has all the basic features she needs to learn the fundamentals of photography, like adjusting aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. It also comes with a decent lens to get her started. The model I have in mind is the Canon EOS Rebel SL3. It's quite user friendly, and I've read some great reviews about it. I'm planning to gift it to her on her birthday, which is in about 3 months. I've already started putting some money aside each month. I think it's the perfect time. She's just finished her 10th boards and now she has a bit of free time before she starts preparing for her higher secondary exams. This will give her a chance to really explore her interest in photography without the pressure of studies looming over her head constantly. The reason I want to gift her this camera is twofold. Firstly, as I mentioned, I see genuine talent in her. She has a natural ability to compose shots and see the beauty in everyday things. I believe that nurturing this talent with the right equipment will really help her develop her skills. Secondly, and perhaps more importantly, I want to encourage her to pursue her passions. I know how much joy photography brings me, and I want her to experience that same feeling of creative fulfillment. I also think it's a great way for her to express herself and document the world around her from her unique perspective. I think this gift will not only make her happy but also open up a whole new world of creative possibilities for her.
An event that immediately springs to mind where the music was, shall we say, less than ideal, was a friend's wedding reception last year. It was a fairly large gathering, probably around 200 guests, held at a rather swanky banquet hall on the outskirts of the city. The venue itself was quite impressive, with high ceilings, crystal chandeliers, and a spacious dance floor. All the trappings of a sophisticated celebration. The problem, however, lay squarely with the music. My friend had hired a DJ who, bless his heart, seemed determined to play every single song in his extensive and somewhat bizarre collection. We started off with some Bollywood classics, which, while generally crowd pleasing, were played at an almost deafening volume, making conversation nearly impossible. Then things took a sharp turn into the realm of heavy metal. I'm not talking about a few well chosen rock anthems. This was full on head-banging metal, completely inappropriate for a wedding reception. I saw a few elderly relatives looking rather confused, and even some of the younger guests seemed a bit taken aback. After that, the musical roller coaster continued with a medley of 80s disco, followed by some rather obscure electronic music, and even a brief foray into traditional folk music. The dance floor, which had initially been quite full during the Bollywood segment, gradually emptied as the night progressed. People were clearly not enjoying the music, and the atmosphere became noticeably less celebratory. The reason I didn't enjoy the music, and I think I speak for many others there, was primarily due to its complete lack of coherence. It felt like the DJ was playing songs at random without any consideration for the mood or the audience. A wedding reception calls for music that encourages dancing, conversation, and celebration, and this was quite the opposite. It was a real shame because everything else about the wedding was lovely. But the music unfortunately cast a bit of a shadow over the entire event.
The neem tree, that is a very important tree in India. It's very common and has a special meaning in our culture. I see neem trees almost everywhere on roadsides, in parks, schoolyards, and even backyards. They're so common that it's hard to imagine India without them. Neem trees look distinct. They're big, with lots of leaves that form a thick canopy. The leaves are small, oval shaped, with slightly jagged edges. They're a bright green, making the tree easy to spot. The bark is rough and uneven, usually a dark grayish brown. The flowers are small and white, growing in bunches, and they smell nice, especially when the tree is blooming. Overall, it's a grand and impressive tree, providing shade and making the area greener. The neem tree is important for many reasons. Firstly, it has amazing medicinal qualities. In Ayurveda, the traditional Indian medicine system, neem is a powerful healer. Almost every part of the tree, leaves, bark, seeds, and oil, is used for medicine. Neem treats many problems, from skin issues and infections to stomach problems and even fevers. Secondly, neem keeps insects away, so it's often planted near homes and fields. Third, neem has other uses besides medicine. The oil from the seeds is used in soaps, makeup, and even as a natural bug killer. The neem tree shows how nature gives us useful and essential things. It helps us in many ways, from improving our health and protecting our environment to giving us valuable products. It's strong and can survive in tough conditions. The neem tree is important in Indian culture. It's respected for its healing abilities and how it helps us live. It's a tree that deserves recognition for its importance, not just in India, but everywhere. It reminds us how powerful nature is and how important it is to protect our natural resources. I'm grateful for the neem tree, not only for its practical uses, but also for its beauty and how it makes me feel connected to nature.
If I could choose any foreign language to learn, it would undoubtedly be Japanese. It's a language that has fascinated me for quite some time now, probably since my early teens when I first became captivated by Japanese animation, or anime as it's more commonly known. It wasn't just the captivating storylines and stunning visuals, it was the language itself, the melodic intonation, the unique script that really piqued my interest. It sounded so different from anything I'd ever heard before, and I became increasingly curious about its structure and nuances. My desire to learn the language has evolved beyond just understanding dialogue. I'm genuinely interested in Japanese culture and its rich history. I would try to learn it in various ways. Firstly, I would enroll in an online course. There are some excellent platforms available that offer comprehensive lessons covering everything from basic grammar and vocabulary to reading and writing. Secondly, I would try to find online communities of Japanese speakers to practice my conversational skills. I'd also watch Japanese films and dramas with subtitles, gradually transitioning to watching them without. I believe this will have a significant impact on both my personal and professional life. On a personal level, it will open up a whole new world of cultural experiences. I'll be able to engage with Japanese media on a much deeper level, appreciating the nuances of the language and the cultural context. I'd love to travel to Japan someday and be able to communicate with locals, explore the country without language barriers, and truly immerse myself in the culture. Professionally, while my current career path isn't directly related to Japan, I believe that learning Japanese will demonstrate my dedication to self improvement and my willingness to embrace challenges. In an increasingly globalized world, multilingualism is a valuable asset, and knowing Japanese could potentially open up new career opportunities in the future.
I had to change my plans once for a weekend trip to the mountains. I had planned this trip carefully for weeks because I really needed a break from work and city life. My plan was to spend 3 days trekking in the Himalayas, exploring some nice trails, and enjoying nature. I had booked a small cabin in a quiet village, checked out the trekking routes, packed everything I needed, and even hired a local guide. Everything was ready for a perfect getaway. The reason I had to change my plan was because of a sudden bad weather forecast. Just the day before my trip, the weather department warned about heavy snow and possible landslides where I was going. They said not to travel to the mountains because it would be very dangerous. At first, I didn't want to cancel my trip, but as I kept watching the weather reports and saw how serious the warnings were, I knew that going ahead with my original plan would be too risky. So, I had to quickly decide what to do instead. Since I had already taken time off from work, I didn't want to just stay home and waste the weekend. I looked at other options. I decided to explore some places in my own city that I hadn't been to before. I went to a couple of museums I'd always wanted to visit, checked out a new art gallery, and even found some nice places in my neighborhood that I hadn't known about. At first, I was disappointed that I had to change my plans. I was really looking forward to my mountain trek, and the idea of staying in the city wasn't as appealing. But as I started doing other things and accepted the change, I started to feel better. I realized that my city had more interesting things to see than I thought. I had some surprisingly good experiences, and I actually enjoyed the slower pace and being with my family. It wasn't the mountain trip I had planned, but it turned out to be a nice weekend anyway. I learned that sometimes, even when things don't go as planned, it's important to be flexible.
One special tradition of my country I would like to talk about is celebration of Diwali. It is the festival of lights, holds a special place in my heart. Falling in October or November, it's a 5-day celebration of joy, family, and vibrant lights and colors. Diwali is inclusive, transcending religious and regional boundaries. While rooted in Hindu mythology, it's celebrated by different religions of our country, uniting people from all walks of life. Families are central to the festivities, with generations gathering to share stories, prepare sweets, and perform rituals. Children are especially excited by the firecrackers, new clothes, and delicious food. The festive spirit extends beyond families, with communities organizing events and sharing sweets. Diwali activities are diverse, varying regionally. The lighting of diyas, oil lamps, and electric lights is most prominent. Homes are beautifully decorated, creating a magical ambience, symbolizing light's triumph over darkness, good over evil. Worshipping goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, is also important, with families performing pujas for blessings. Exchanging gifts and sweets is essential, with people visiting each other's homes. Firecrackers, though increasingly regulated, remain a significant part of the festivities for many, particularly children. Preparing traditional dishes is another key aspect, with mothers and grandmothers spending days creating sweets and snacks for family and friends. I feel incredibly positive about Diwali. It's more than a festival. It symbolizes hope, renewal, and togetherness. The lamps signify dispelling negativity and welcoming positivity. The focus on family and community strengthens bonds and reinforces cultural values. Diwali has become a secular celebration of joy and prosperity, a time to reconnect with loved ones and express gratitude. It truly embodies India's spirit, a celebration of light, life, and community.
In Gurugram, a tall building complex that I often think about is Cyber Hub. It's not one single skyscraper, but a group of connected buildings that create an impressive modern look. It's become a well known landmark in Gurugram. I go to Cyber Hub quite often, maybe a couple of times a month. It's a popular place to eat out, meet friends, and even go to work events. It's always busy there, especially in the evenings and on weekends. Cyber Hub is mainly a place for businesses and entertainment. It has many different restaurants, cafes, bars, and shops. You can find all kinds of food there, from casual places to fancy restaurants, with food from all over the world. People go there to relax, eat, meet friends, or celebrate special days. During the day, it's also a business area with many offices. So people work, shop, eat, and socialize there, all in one area. It's a very lively place. I like the way Cyber Hub is designed. I think it's a well planned and beautiful complex. The buildings are modern with lots of glass and steel, which makes them look sleek and stylish. The open spaces, the plants, and the way it's laid out make it feel welcoming and lively. It doesn't feel like a crowded concrete area. It feels open and spacious. I especially like how the buildings connect, making it easy to walk around. It feels very dynamic and energetic. But like other similar places, Cyber Hub has some problems. It can get very crowded, especially when it's busy, which makes it hard to get around and find a place to park. The prices at many places are also high, so it's not a cheap place to visit often. And while the buildings look modern and nice, some people might say they don't have much unique character and look similar to other places like it. Even with these issues, I think Cyber Hub is an important part of Gurugram. It's a place where different kinds of people go and it offers many different things to do. It shows how quickly Gurugram has grown and become a major city for business and people from all over. I like going there, even though I know it has some downsides.
Recently, I tried to encourage my cousin, Rohan, to participate in the inter-school science fair. A bright, academically gifted child, Rohan struggles with public speaking, preferring to avoid any situation requiring him to address an audience. He had developed an innovative self-watering hydroponic system for growing vegetables, an impressive project for his age. His science teacher encouraged him to present it at the fair, but Rohan was terrified. The thought of explaining his project to judges and students made him freeze. He was convinced he would mess up, forget his lines, and embarrass himself, wanting to withdraw entirely. I decided to encourage him to overcome his fear. I began by acknowledging his fears, validating his feelings as normal. Then I shifted his focus from fearing failure to the potential benefits of participating, such as family pride, learning, and boosted self confidence. I also helped him practice his presentation, acting as the audience and providing constructive feedback. We simplified his explanations for clarity and anticipated potential questions from the judges. Initially, Rohan was resistant, convinced of his inability. I persisted, gently reminding him of his potential. My belief and practical support made a difference. He practiced diligently. At the fair, though nervous, he delivered his presentation well. He didn't win, but that was secondary. He faced his fear, presented his project, and gained confidence. He appreciated my encouragement. I encouraged him because I genuinely believed in his abilities. Overcoming this fear would be significant for him, academically and personally. Public speaking is valuable in all aspects of life, and I wanted to show him that with support, he can overcome challenges. It was about building resilience and helping him realize his potential.
I recently finished a jigsaw puzzle that I found very satisfying. It was a picture of London at night, a panoramic view showing famous landmarks like Tower Bridge, the London Eye, and the Houses of Parliament. It had 2,000 pieces, which is a lot for me. The picture was very detailed with lots of small buildings, interesting architecture, and lights reflecting on the Thames River. The colors were mostly dark blues and blacks for the night sky with bright lights from street lamps and buildings. This made it look great, but also quite difficult. The many pieces and the complicated picture made it a moderately hard puzzle. It wasn't the hardest puzzle I've ever done, but it wasn't easy either. Sometimes I got frustrated, especially when I was looking through hundreds of pieces that seemed to be the same color or shape. It took me a long time to finish, about 2 weeks. I didn't work on it all the time. I usually spent a couple of hours each evening after work sorting pieces, trying different combinations, and slowly putting the picture together. Sometimes I got stuck and couldn't find the right piece, but I kept trying, taking breaks, and coming back later. I found it relaxing. It was a good way to unwind after a long day, to think about something other than work, and to use my brain in a different way. I feel really good about finishing this puzzle. It feels great to finish a big jigsaw puzzle, especially one this complicated. It's not just about finishing the puzzle itself, it's about the mental challenge. I enjoy problem solving, looking at the picture, and figuring out how to put it together. It's like being a detective, trying to find the clues to find the next piece. And when I finally find the perfect piece, it feels like a small win. Besides feeling accomplished, I also like how the finished puzzle looks. The picture of London at night is beautiful, and I'm thinking about framing it and putting it on my wall. It reminds me of the time and effort I put into it, and it also brings back good memories of visiting London. It's more than just a puzzle, it's a piece of art that I made myself, piece by piece. That's what makes it so special.
I would like to talk about Infosys, a global IT services and consulting giant headquartered in Bangalore, India, is a prime example of a company with large scale employment. It has profoundly impacted the nation's economy and workforce. Infosys operates in information technology, offering a wide range of services. software development, cloud computing, cybersecurity, data analytics, and business process outsourcing. They help businesses across diverse industries and leverage technology for improved operations. Infosys employs hundreds of thousands globally with a significant presence in India, making them a leading IT sector employer. The workforce is incredibly diverse, reflecting their service range. Employees possess specialized technical skills, strong business acumen, and communication skills. Operating globally, they employ diverse nationalities and cultural backgrounds, creating a multicultural environment. Recruitment includes university and engineering college graduates and experienced professionals with specialized expertise. I view Infosys positively. I admire their contribution to India's economic growth, instrumental in positioning India as a global IT hub, creating jobs and boosting economic development. They've significantly promoted technical education and skill development. I appreciate their innovation focus and commitment to technological advancements, investing heavily in R&D to provide cutting-edge solutions. Their emphasis on employee training and development, providing continuous learning and upskilling, is crucial in the evolving IT industry. Overall, Infosys has made a substantial positive impact globally and in India. They've provided massive employment and contributed to technological advancements.
My uncle's farmhouse is a place I love to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. It's about an hour's drive from my city in a small village. It's a huge property, unlike my small apartment. The farmhouse is a charming, old fashioned bungalow with a big porch all around it. It has green fields, fruit trees, and a small pond. Inside, it's cozy with wooden furniture, brick walls, and a large fireplace. It feels like going back in time away from the city's noise and busyness. It's very peaceful there. The air is fresh, nature sounds are calming, and life is slower. My uncle has a beautiful garden with many flowers and plants, making it very pretty. I love visiting, especially on weekends. It's a great escape from the city. I like being in nature, taking long walks, helping my uncle in the garden, though I'm not very good at it, and relaxing on the porch with tea, listening to birds. The food is also a big reason I like going there. My aunt cooks delicious traditional meals with fresh ingredients from their farm. It's much different from the food I eat in the city. The farmhouse is also perfect for family get togethers. We celebrate festivals and birthdays there. There's lots of room for everyone to have fun. The kids love running around in the fields, and it's a good time for us to connect with nature and each other. Even though it's charming, I wouldn't want to live there. It's too far from the city. I like the peace of the countryside, but I also like the convenience of city life. My work, friends, and family are in the city. Driving an hour each way every day would take too much time and be tiring. Also, it's harder to get things like healthcare, go shopping, or find entertainment in the village. My uncle is used to this, but I'm used to city life, so it would be hard to adjust. I like going to nature sometimes, but I'm really a city person. I like the energy, the different kinds of people, and the cultural things to do in the city. I'd miss the excitement of city life if I lived in the country. So I love visiting my uncle's farmhouse. I appreciate how peaceful and beautiful it is. But I know I belong in the city. The farmhouse is a great place for a break, to relax and recharge, but it's not where I want to live.